Hey there, Sound Engraver here. Welcome back to my SNES soundtracks series where we are focusing again on the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the music themes for Donkey Kong's simian allies. The first being Cranky Kong, his crabby grandfather, the second being Funky Kong, his friend, and last but certainly not least is Candy Kong, his love interest. Now before we begin, I do want to give a bit of disclosure. I can't confirm who composed what, so I will say that these themes were composed by David Wise. But I do remember seeing Candy's theme composed by Eveline Fisher. I can't find where, so just bear in mind that it could be either David Wise or Eveline Fisher. Let's begin with Cranky Kong. For structure, I give it a 10 out of 10. The length is sitting at 30 seconds. Now this is short, but I would say that it doesn't need to be any longer functionally. Cranky goes through his advice quickly and sends DK back out in no time. You got a nice 4-bar intro with a very simple 4-bar melody that repeats with variation in the instruments, and that's it. It doesn't need to be more than that. For instrumentation, I give it a 10 out of 10. You feel like you're in the jungle with the marimba and the primitive percussion section. You also have this nice use of higher keys that blend well with the jungle instruments and the synth strings. You've also got a great, simple bass line. For mood, I give it a 10 out of 10. This is perfect for Cranky Kong. He's part of DK's family. This is well depicted by the jungle vibes. You feel close to DK's home every time you arrive at Cranky's cabin. It's not really flashy or catchy, and it doesn't need to be. This is a simple tune for simpler times, as Cranky would say. The overall mix is a 10 out of 10. It's nice and tight between the low end and the mid-range and also the high instruments. If there is reverb, it's in the flute synth, and that's it. All the instruments you hear are where they need to be, and it's great. So that brings us to a total of 40 out of 40 or 100%. Next we have Funky Kong. The structure for his theme is a 10 out of 10. The length is 1 minute and 10 seconds. Now I would say this length is too long for what the music serves, and that is getting DK around the island map fast, but I won't knock it because it's a great piece. This is great music to take a break with, stop and grab a snack, get a soda, talk to your friends, it's just that catchy. I give the instrumentation an 8 out of 10. It starts with a terrific arpeggiated synth that is both melodic and rhythmic. You've got this great bass line that has this primitive banging on a household item feel. And you had this nice use of DK's grunt before entering the next melodic phrase. Now I will knock it for this cheesy hi-ya in it, like hi-ya! Yeah, even as a little kid listening to it, I just thought it was unapologetically cheese, so yeah, there's the point knock for it. Now we have a B section in the melody that includes a kind of industrial vibe. It has syncopation that I think is good, but I would knock it down a point for it not being active enough. There could have been something like a rhythmic delay added to it, something that would make the instrument more active. For mood, I give it a 10 out of 10. It's a great vibe for a chill friend of our protagonist. It has a very catchy chord progression. Like it is with Cranky, you just know who this Funky Kong is by hearing his music. The overall mix is a 10 out of 10. This is well mixed, especially with the arpeggiated instrument at the start. Even the more intrusive instruments like the industrial synth in the B section are cleanly mixed. So that gives us a total score of 38 out of 40 or 95%. And finally, we are with Candy Kong. For structure, I give her theme an 11 out of 10. The length is sitting at 1 minute and 3 seconds. This is a wonderful length for such an active piece. Now I'm giving Candy a little extra credit. She has 2 great melodic sections. Section A includes a 4-bar intro that really gets you swinging 2 bars in. Its great melody is nice and long with active variation on its second repeat. And this part carries a suggestive wind instrument that's suitable for Candy's feminine charisma. Section B engages the swing feel even more with the higher keys and cheeky bass. I give the instrumentation a 10 out of 10. The instruments used remind us of that old big band era. One musical cue for this is the entry of horns topping off the phrase. There's this amazing bass line that includes a bit of walking motion. And you've got this sultry instrument that is a synth, but it's close to a clarinet, which was a popular solo instrument in the big band era. For mood, I give it a 10 out of 10. This mood is perfect for the simian lady out to get DK's attention. There are great chromatic approaches into the melody or into a given phrase to emphasize Candy's flirting. Now the interesting thing here is that every instrument points to the gamer to Donkey Kong 3, Dixie's Double Trouble, which makes me wonder if this was composed by Eveline Fisher. The overall mix is a 10 out of 10. There's a wonderful blend of low enharmonic percussion and traditional sounding instruments. Nothing is washed out. The active bass line stands out in a good way, and the higher instruments pop in nice and crisp. Everything sounds terrific. So this gives us a total score of 41 out of 40, or let's say 101%. So I hope you enjoyed my score and analysis of those 3 themes. Be on the lookout for some more videos like this in the near future, and until I see you next, keep producing and preserving the art and music you love. Take care.